Go Blue, I'm Steve Deace. Welcome to a special instant reaction podcast. The University of Michigan announcing today it has fired football coach Sherrone Moore for cause. So it turns out all those crazy rumors I heard when I was in Ann Arbor back in early November for the Purdue game, and I mean, all anybody talked about were these rumors everywhere I went. Turns out they were actually true. After an investigation into the matter involving personal impropriety with Sherrone Moore and a subordinate in the athletic department, the University of Michigan found there was just cause to fire him today, and so they did. So the matters of his case and his impropriety will come out in the coming days as details of the investigation become confirmed. I will tell you, this is beyond a Mel Tucker scenario of a guy just pleasuring himself while on the phone with a woman. But those sort of details are for an investigation to confirm, not for me. Let's talk about football for a second. And strictly from a football perspective, this is the perfect time for something like this to happen, meaning a coaching change. Let me explain. We are in the middle of the academic calendar now. If you're on semesters, you're done for another month. If you're on trimesters, you're almost done. So we're not interfering with an academic calendar. The portal still doesn't open for almost another month. We're post-signing day. And yes, by rule, those young people we just signed have 30 days now of an exclusive window to go out and solicit other offers. And we may lose a few of those young men. But for most of them, we were the best offer they had, both in terms of stature and payment and compensation. So this is the perfect time to make this kind of a hire. We're the only school open. Not to mention, we're one of the biggest brands in the entire sport. And I know within Michigan message board communities, athletic director Ward Manuel is not held in high regard, but I can tell you, corporately in his peer group, he's held in very high regard. And some of his most recent hires are a top 5 women's basketball coach at the moment, the number 1 hockey coach at the moment, and the number 1 or number 2 men's basketball coach at the moment. There's going to be plenty of resources here. At worst, you'll get a chance to make a pitch to a 5-star quarterback in Bryce Underwood to get him to stay. At worst, that's what you're going to get an opportunity to do. Michigan will have no problem filling this position. And the truth of the matter is we're going to hire a coach way better than what we had. And if we game theory this all out with the likely outcome, even without the sordid alleged behavior here, which isn't too alleged apparently from Sherrone Moore, if we just set that aside, the least likely outcome 1 year from now is that he was going to show he was a way better coach than he had his first 2 years, and with next year's schedule get us to 10-2 and into the playoffs. It was at least 50-50, at least 50-50 that we were doing this 1 year from now, at least 50-50. And then you don't know who else you're competing with in the coaching carousel. Now we're competing with nobody. And to me, there are 7 names of coaches that I would call. I'll see if I can remember them all off the top of my head. I posted them on X already. But the number 1 coach I'm calling Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills. I'm calling him first. Josh Allen has become even better. And look what he did to the passing game, at LSU. Just revolutionized Joe Burrow as a quarterback there. And that's probably somebody that keeps. In fact, I think if you looked at pretty much every coach on this list, these are all guys I think that keep Bryce Underwood here with their track records. But I'm going to call Joe Brady first. I'm calling Clark Lee at Vanderbilt second. He's managed to come up with a wide open offense and a tough, gritty culture team as well. He's got Midwest ties with Notre Dame. Now he's at his alma mater. Maybe he wants to stay there. I'm going to make him tell me no. I mean, that guy's just got Michigan football coach 21st century written all over him. That's like if Lloyd Carr believed in a wide open passing attack, he would be Clark Lee. Those are the kinds of coaches that I think fit here. Unfortunately, this waited a week because I think Matt Campbell would have, walked over broken glass to take our job. In fact, I know he would have, and that would have been a tremendous hire. But that's an opportunity cost. This is still a pretty strong list. Next name I'm calling, Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. He wanted this job 2 years ago. You may want out of Alabama. The opportunity to get ahead of the posse. Yeah, well, Steve, they're in the playoffs. Yeah, but they lost 3 games. He's lost 3 games 2 years in a row at Alabama. He doesn't make the playoffs next year. He could be gone. I mean, it's just, it's hard being the guy that follows the guy, which is another reason why this will be a very coveted job. You're not replacing Jimmy. You're replacing Sherrone, right? You're not following the guy. You're following the guy that followed the guy. So this is the perfect time for Michigan to hire a new coach. All right, so Joe Brady, Clark Lee. I'm going to call Kalen DeBoer. I'm trying to remember the rest of the names. On my list. I'm calling Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. I'm calling Jeff Brom at Louisville. Jed Fish was my number 4 name. I'm calling Jed Fish, the former Michigan assistant. I'm calling him at Washington. This is a pretty impressive list, guys, and they're all dramatic upgrades in terms of resume over what we had. And then the 7th name on my list, I'm going to call Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. Good coach. I think his personality would play very well here, but he'd be 7th on my list. But again, I think he'd be a dramatic upgrade over what we had in Sherrone Moore. I think we were at least 50-50 that we were doing this 12 months from now. Now we get to do it, and let me reset now. You don't have to follow Jim Harbaugh. You take over a program with almost limitless resources, one of the biggest brands in the sport. At worst, you get an opportunity to make a closing pitch to a 5-star quarterback. At worst. The portal doesn't open for another month. Last year's class is already signed. Yes, they'll get a chance to go into the portal, but you get a chance to recruit all those guys. And again, we're the best program most of those guys had lined up. Most of them are going to stay probably. So this is the perfect time. We're not competing with anybody else. We have the whole field to ourselves. We have an athletic director who, again, despite what we think internally in the Michigan message board community, externally, there's a reason why he was the face of the College Football Playoff Committee. Ward Manuel is held in high esteem. Guy hired Dusty May. Guy hired Kim Barnes-Arico. Guy hired Brandon Arado with the hockey program. Again, that's number 1, number 5, number 2. I mean, for those caught in the middle of Sherrone's impropriety, this is obviously terrible for them and awful for them on a personal level. And from what it appears, based on the university's actions today, Sherrone's behavior, the rumored behavior, was indeed confirmed and deplorable. Setting aside the human cost, though, from a football perspective, the timing of this could not be any better for the University of Michigan, for all the reasons I've already itemized. And I think one of the 7 names I just gave you, I think one of those 7 names will be the next Michigan football coach. I'd put it at least 90%. And I think they are all dramatic upgrades over what we had. All right. So keep it tuned here. We'll, of course, have plenty of reaction and coverage as the search now unfolds and begins for the next Michigan football coach right here on the channel. Merry Christmas, everybody. Go Blue. I'm Steve Deace.